Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
The Classic Metal Wrap-Up Show proudly presents Dokken and Debunking Dokken.
It's still the same in my dreams. You're still by me. In my dreams. Just the way it used to be. In my dreams. What can I say? In my dreams. You're still by me. And in my dreams you'll always be.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Classic Metal Wrap-Up Show, that is Dokken. Within my dreams, the velvety pipes of classic era Don Dokken coming to you right there. And I got my co-host with me. He's also got a pair of velvety pipes. You may know him as Angry Andrew. How are you, Andrew?
Doing pretty good. We're going to analyze some Don, so I'm paying tribute tonight.
You know, we're going to be analyzing my dear friend Donnie D. And we'll bring that up right now because there is an interview with Don, ladies and gentlemen, that, well, let's just say that Don's, well, he's just got a lot of tales to tell, I think is the best way to say it. Right, Andrew?
Well, that's definitely one way to put it.
Now, I made a few annotations of timestamps for this video, so when we're ready for that, we'll get into it. But go ahead.
I guess because I had checked out a few seconds worth or a few minutes worth rather of this video, and in just that maybe 3 to 4 minutes that I checked out, I found myself saying, Don, just don't lie to me.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be honest. You know, my friend Don here is going to spin a lot of yarns, and we're going to listen to him. Now, I made some annotations of some peak ones that I think Andrew may want to discuss. And, but the whole video, quite frankly, so this may be a multi-segment interview to dissect because there's so much to debunk here and so much to discuss, or maybe not even debunk because there might be some evidence backing up my older brother Wendell's dear friend, best friend, Donnie D. So let's just start right from the get-go, though, in this interview. Now, we're going to give these guys some credit. This is the SDR show. You can find that on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. We want to give them credit for having Don on the show. And they asked some good questions. I will give them credit for that. And but let's just hear where Don goes. The first question, I believe, right out the gate is in relation to Rocklahoma, which I think Andrew can help us dissect just a little bit because he's familiar with the area and the event. So let's just check that out here.
Aaron Berg back with us once again, had the kindness to turn on his fireplace behind him so he looks cool. Very nice. Yeah. We have a guest on the show. I don't expect him to remember me because we haven't spoken in 20 years. So why would he remember me? Right?
I just want to say real quick when we start this out, these guys are definitely, they have to be New York or Jersey or, I don't know, East Coast kind of guys or something. That's the first, because they actually have quite a few little one-liners in here, folks, that some of them fly right over Don's head and he doesn't even acknowledge them because they're just not registering here. But we'll drag this forward just a little bit because he does an introduction where Don wouldn't remember him, but maybe Don does. Right. Who knows?
But 20 years ago, when the Erase the Slate album came, which is the only album they did with Red Beach from Winger, doing this. So when it's not fun anymore is when I'm going to stop doing it. And here we are 20 years later. I assume you're still having fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still having fun. I mean, you know, it's not like, well, Rocklahoma was amazing because I had very low expectations about that concert.
Mm-hmm.
Because they said, you know, we had to go to the Whiskey a Go-Go 2 weeks before with the promoters, and they had never done a concert before. And I said, you've never done a concert.
Hold on, let him finish this. But yes, I think right there, we already have a problem, ladies.
We already have a couple problems. We have a problem with something that the interviewer guy said as well.
Okay, let's hear this out though.
Buzzard, oh shit. And it was just two farmers that had a bunch of land, and they decided to put the stage up there and do this thing called Rocklahoma, and they explained the whole thing to me, and I thought, this is going to tank big time. No offense to them. And it's funny because it was so successful the first 2 years, and then they sold the franchise. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Rocklahoma anymore.
Okay. All right, Andrew. So I know you're going to have a few things, right? Let's just go ahead and plug Don into the lie detector test here and see what's coming up. What do you got, Andrew?
All right. Well, well, you see, the thing is that the Erase the Slate album came out in 1999. So, if this interview is in fact from this year, that record came out 27 years ago, not 20. And it
Ding, 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 ding.
around the time of Rocklahoma, which was only 19 years ago. Now, I'll give Don a little bit of grace, a little bit of saving grace on this one, because Rocklahoma this year is billing itself as the 20th anniversary because they're retarded and don't know how math works and don't understand that. Well, no. An anniversary is a year from the first event. So your first anniversary wouldn't be 2007, it would be 2008. So this might be the 20th Rocklahoma, but it's not the 20th anniversary, and they're kind of dumb. They don't understand how the fuck that works. But anyway, I digress. I could give him a little bit of grace on that one if he just looks at the Rocklahoma thing and sees that it says 20th anniversary, where you go, oh shit, that was 20 years ago. Because Don, and again, I'm only being fair. We're going to make like Jim and them and be fair in this one. Don might see that as, oh, I guess it has been about 20 years, and just assume that they're smart enough to understand that, or to think that they understand how anniversaries work when they don't. That said, the promoters that did Rocklahoma, that was their first rock concert. They had done festivals years before called Country Fever. They were just country oriented. Rocklahoma was the first time that they branched off into a different genre of music. But yeah, so to say that was the first concert they had ever done, that is fucking false. And then they had 3 years, not 2, 3 years before they sold it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, right off the get-go, Don is, he's just, sometimes you have to assume as an older guy, he's generalizing, and sometimes he just doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And you combine those two together, and we end up with a lot of debunking we have to do to sort through this mess. So we're not even 2 minutes in. We already have some stuff that isn't exactly making sense. Now, I'll play just a little bit more of this, I think, and then we'll move on to one I know that is very interesting. But this is a long interview, as you guys see, ladies and gentlemen, over an hour, so we're not going to go through everything, but we have some highlights here. So let's hear just a little bit more of this and see what he says, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Just remember the first show, and you were there. It was hotter than shit.
Yeah. And do you remember also there was like a storm that blew through, and one of the stages fell down, and then they had to rebuild it. It was pretty crazy. That was fun, though. It was great. It was a great time.
We missed that. That was the second day, I think, and I hung out for the next day, and the stage literally collapsed.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was wild. And then what's funny, I'll give my old assistant producer Scotty credit, because we were all huddled in our wherever you could find safety, because it was crazy windstorms and rainstorms. And then he looked at me and goes, every band is in their bus right now. Let's just go do interviews. And we went from bus to bus because everybody was in their buses because there was no shows. And we banged out like 20 interviews. It worked out great for us.
Well, it worked out good for everybody. I mean, that was a good show, though, because like I said, I had low expectations. And then I showed up, I showed up kind of early so I could say hello to my peeps. And say hello to everybody I knew. And then I looked out and I went, holy shit, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, it was crazy. There were 3 stages. It was really fun. Anyway, I want to start with.
So I think his recollection is generally correct. Do you see anything else that's amiss there with
I
that?
see. Well, again with the host and Don, I see something. The stage didn't collapse the first year. The stage didn't collapse in 2007. The stage collapsed in 2008. And sources from that year with the lineup said the only day that Dokken played in 2008 was the pre-party, which would have been Thursday night. And the stage collapsed on Saturday. So when that happened, Don wasn't even fucking there.
But he acts like he was a first-hand witness to the whole chain of events. He knew it was coming. So
When the stage collapsed, Lita Ford was actually on stage at the time.
Bobby Rock might have gone down.
Yeah.
Not Bobby. All right. So let's move forward. And you saw Don was smoking one of his whatever. So, we're gonna need to. We're all gonna have to have a smoke with Don here because he's gonna spin some more yarns.
You just gotta use it's theater of the mind in a little bit because my landlord wouldn't like it if I lit it inside. So I should have took this out on the balcony and then I could have
All right, so here we're going to talk a little bit about some car tales with Don Dokken that made me raise my eyebrow a little bit. Here we go.
Mom let me drive anyway. I remember I was 14. And I bought my first car at 14 for $25.
Wow.
And it was a 56 Chevy. And it had a blown head gasket. And I bought it at a gas station. The guy abandoned it. And he goes, it runs fine, but the water's going in the oil. So every about, it's got a blown head gasket. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah. So we would just go and drive it until it started to overheat, and we just put water in it, Yeah. So we'd go down to Haight-Ashbury. And I remember that year, it was peace and love, open sex, everybody's dropping acid. You had Moby Grape, and all that, and all those early Richie Havens seemed to play with everybody. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty, innocent, I thought. And then it changed. Then all the drug dealers came from New York and the Midwest, and then all of us.
Okay, as someone who's from Northern California, I have to explain some things here that made me go,
Yeah.
First off, he's claiming that he's driving at 14, which means this is the summer of 19. If you go by his age, and he's born in 53, this is the summer of 1967. Summer love. And now he lived in this interview. He tells you he lived in Truckee up by Reno on the state line. Now he's got a blown head gasket on a 56 Chevy. And he's going to take it through the Sierra Nevada mountains where Truckee is, which is major elevation, up and down the mountains till he goes down to Sacramento. Well, that's 2 hours if you ran the whole way without having to stop and put water in it. And then he's going to drive another hour from Sacramento into the city of San Francisco to get through, pay the tolls, which means you're driving through the bridges, all the stuff. I'm just going to tell you right now, the idea that your vehicle with a blown head gasket is going to make it 3 hours and 300 miles into the city of San Francisco from up on the state line, I'm calling horseshit. I'm just telling you right now. I've tried to drag a vehicle when I used to come out of high school. I was working at my cousin's auto lot, and he bought some cars in Reno. I had to take them back to Sacramento area, and one of them did have a blown head gasket. And it took me the whole fucking day to get down the mountain. And when we got to about, I want to say Auburn-ish, we gave up and just caught the tow truck from there and pulled it down. So there's no way this guy was doing all that in a 56 Chevy in 1967. Right. I just don't buy his whole fucking story. Well, but go ahead.
The other question I have is, you said everybody was doing acid. Does that include you, Don, who's never touched drugs, allegedly? But then does sometimes whenever you forget that you told people you didn't?
Well, let's take a quick look before we continue with that conversation, because right over here we may find some evidence, ladies and gentlemen, in my folder, which we'll get to these photos in just a moment. But this one here, I think, this one here might prove his story to be true, Andrew.
Oh, yep. Here he is.
Let's see if we can make it a little bit larger for you guys there. There you go. So there he is. He's it's the says Golden Gate Park, summer of '67, and if you look closely, well, we don't want to zoom in that much. Hold on. There's Don with a cigarette next to Jerry and Janice. Jamming in Golden Gate Park. So, having a smoke. Even back then, he was having a cig.
Whenever he tells this story, am I the only one that pictures like the fade out of like this 14-year-old Don driving, but like he goes, it was the summer of 1967, and like as it's fading in, like fucking incense and peppermints is playing in the background to set the mood.
110%. Oh,
Rock and rollers everywhere.
absolutely. Wendell, we're going to get
I
back
want
to
to
one
find
right
out
now.
that the way that this takes place in the timeline is while Don was driving is when Wendell was going "Help! Help!" and fucking because it would line
All right.
up 67. That would line up.
So let's hear just a little more of this tale because it's going to be a little more interesting here. Because he says at 14 he was seeing free sex right there in the park in San Francisco. I'm going to tell you right now,
What kind of sex was it?
even in the summer of love of '67, ladies and gentlemen, what he saw was some tits. Some hippie chicks were walking around with their knockers out. People weren't just fucking inserting peni into vagina right there in the park in front of everybody, dude. That wasn't happening. He's making shit up. No, now you might find some loose hippie chicks down there who's going to offer you some acid and some weed and say, come back to my flat in the hate and we're going to get down and have a party, but they're not doing it in the park. All right, let's hear some more of Don's story.
Sudden they're selling you acid with shit put in it, and everybody's tripping and freaking out, and it changed. It wasn't about peace and love anymore. It was about tripping and freaking out, and it wasn't my thing,
And I'm not saying some drugs weren't tainted, but let's also be clear. That's what happens when people take acid, Dawn. They freak out. That is what happens. Like for some people, even though it can be the same batch of LSD, and one guy has a great trip. He's on cloud 9, enjoying life, and the other guy is over here, doom and gloom, hiding under the bed, freaking out. So
I know a guy that I grew up with that was friends. He wasn't like, I don't want to lie, like I was all right with him, but like I wasn't like friends with him, but he was like in the group with us, like he was a friend of my friend. So it's like, and he had a bad acid trip back in 2020 to the point that he freaked out and went outside naked and tripped down the hill in his sister's backyard, and he fucking died. He caved his skull in on a log at the bottom of it. It was fucked up.
Yeah,
It was
shit
just
can
fucked
happen.
up. Yeah.
So let's hear a little more of this story.
I mean, I tried it, but I didn't like it. But
Oh,
so I
never
got to
liked
see Haight Ashbury
He
the
never
year
liked it.
before.
He never does drugs, but he tries them once in a
But he
while.
tries them.
And
But
doesn't
which-
like them.
Let me ask you this. This is just, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't trying drugs count as doing drugs at least once? And if he's trying multiple drugs, then yeah, he has done drugs.
If he was on the
Maybe
police,
he's addicted, but he has done them.
if he was on the police lie detector test and he said that he didn't do drugs, he would fail because he has done
Yes.
drugs. He's done
And
coke
that's what I'm
and pills and
that's
acid
what
and
I'm
weed
fucking
and
saying.
cigarettes and booze.
What
And
I'm
so,
saying.
yes, they would
Like,
bump
for
him out for failing,
And
to be
I'll put it
honest.
this way. That's a question that I think a lot of people would fail on a polygraph test because, and I'm not saying because of what you just said. I think it's pretty normal that at most, or I mean, at the very least, all of us have at least fucking taken a couple tokes off a fucking joint at some point. So I think that's a question that most people would fail because even if it was only the one time, you still did drugs of some
Don
sort.
says he didn't do drugs.
Yeah.
It's a loose definition with Don. He's like Bill Clinton. It's a loose definition. Okay, let's hear a little bit more here.
Or Woodstock. I think I was 14. And then I come back to Kings Beach. And with those bands, they were just getting famous. They would come to Kings Beach because it was a 2-hour drive and kind of do their warm-up show,
Mhm.
So, and I remember it was like 4 maybe it was $5. So I come from a generation of just before, just when it was changing, when there was the Herman's Hermits and there was the Dave Clark Five and, and all that stuff, that was all changing into, all of a sudden everybody's wearing Nehru jackets. Remember those?
Not really, but I'll take your word for it.
You're too young.
Yeah, I
That
think so.
became the thing, and then the Beatles came out and they're all wearing Nehru jackets. Had like a
Okay.
little collar.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what that is. Yeah.
Because it was after Gandhi got killed and Nehru took over, and everybody started wearing Nehru, and it was all like wild paisley patterns and all that shit.
Mhm.
And you had 50 beads around your neck.
Yeah.
So, and that's all I wanted for Christmas was a Nehru jacket.
That's all he wanted for Christmas, man. Is an Nehru jacket.
All right. Are you hearing the same thing that I'm hearing? He's talking, and you hear the struggle to one keep the teeth in the mouth, and then the fucking Darth Vader sleep apnea breath with the and then everything just.
Because the cigarettes, this is cigarettes, man. He's already getting ready to fire up another. He's already got another heater in his hand. He's ready to fire it up. So
Yeah, like Rod Serling. It's like this.
and it's
Oh
not
my
even the
God.
kind. He's not even the kind of guy who has. He's not even the kind of guy who just has the smoke when he's having the cocktail on Friday night after work. He's the kind of guy who's just lighting up heater after heater after heater. And he's just
Right. Exactly. He's not like me who is at
it's
a
occasional.
social event or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, all right, yeah, I'll fucking relax.
All right, so let's move forward here because then he's going to get into his voice, and I think that's an important topic for us to cover here because he has some explanations or information about his voice that he wants to explain, and I think we should hear him out because it's Wendell's best friend. Make sure I get this just right. Yeah, right there. All right, here we go.
I have to use vibrato, and that's the way Klaus sang, right? He never sang, "You give me all I need." He goes, "Need." I'm hoarse today.
Oh, today. Good thing it's just today.
You give me all I need.
How many live videos can we bring up where that's exactly how he's seen on stage? That's not because he's
all of them. Every fucking one from the last 10 goddamn years.
His hoarse voice.
You give me excuse me, guys. Into the fire.
Oh my god, that is so funny, dude. His hoarse voice. Okay.
Just today,
I think the voice is hoarse. I think the voice has been
today.
hoarse for 26 years since 2000. Every day wakes up. Okay, let's hear a little bit more of his excuse here.
He would go, "Need." And remember, I always make a joke when I met him, like, "All right, California, are you ready for the blackout?" I just saw him a month ago in Vegas, but he still talks in a rhythmical, "Hello, Don, how have you been?" "Good." And I started doing it.
It's called an
"How are you
accent.
doing,
retard.
Klaus?"
It's called a German accent, Doc.
Don, you have not learned anything in 40 years. We are scorpions. You are fucking mongoloid.
You have hoarse voice. Yeah.
Your voice is fucking gone. Your voice is fucking gone.
Permanent hoarse voice.
Ooh, your voice is leaving you. Your voice is leaving you. It's gone because of the smokes.
Oh my God, Don, you cracked me up. This interview is so funny, and we're just getting started. Okay. We got you, buddy. We got you. Okay. Oh my gosh. Whew. Okay. Let's regroup here for a second. Let's hear a little bit more of this, and then we're going to we'll do one more little segment, and we'll take a brief commercial break, and we'll come back for more.
"Hey, Rudy, what's up?" And of course, I'm connected now with the Scorpions besides Blackout because of Mickey D.
Right.
After
You brought
Let
Mickey
Me
D to
Die.
them. Yeah.
Oh man, I begged. They didn't
Yeah.
want Mickey. No offense, Mickey, but all they could think of is Motorhead.
Right.
And I said, guys, Mickey was in my band for 3 years, and he used to play ABBA, in the car. He liked, because they were Swedish, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's the way Mickey was. He got misnomered because of Black. First, he was in, what was it? Not Black Diamond, but
King Diamond?
King Diamond.
Gotta keep that in. Keep my
Black
teeth in.
Diamond. Black Diamond.
Yeah, it's a Kiss song, retard.
All right.
He was in Black
So-
Diamond. You're the guy, Black Diamond.
Now we're going to move it forward to one more before we take a break. Let's move it forward here to this one, where I think you'll have some interesting takes on what he says here.
McChinken, please. That just means eggs and ham. That's all I could say. What do you want to eat? I go, Spiegelei mit Schinken, bitte. That's the first thing I ever learned. So George came, Mick came, Juan was supposed to come. We won't go into that. But, Juan did not get along with George at all.
Mhm.
My first tour of Germany was in 79. We were a three-piece. I was the lead singer.
So he's saying that Juan left because of George.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that before?
Nope.
Has anyone, George, even said that he has an issue with Juan Crucier? Or
No. And Blotzer told you, or Blotzer has told we know because we heard an interview with Blotzer where Blotzer said that he was the one that convinced Juan to join Rat. So I don't think he left for any reason. I think it goes like this. Dokken and Rat get signed. Rat takes off before Dokken, so you follow the success. I think it's as simple as that.
And I think, though, in another interview, there was a discussion where Don admitted that there was Juan wanted to bring his girl. There was her tearing up his passport or visa issues or something going on. Yeah. And so I think there was also like Rat's going to be right here stateside playing in LA and I can do that versus go over to Germany and follow the donkey around and hope that's going to work out and I got to bring my girl with. So wouldn't that be a huge factor? Not just, nowhere has I ever heard that George and Juan have beef.
Because I don't think they do. I think that's Don saying,
Well, here's an opportunity for me to go and say that somebody else had a problem with George so people don't realize I'm just a fucking asshole.
That's probably exactly what it is. Okay, we're going to take a brief break right here and bring you a little commercial from one of our sponsors, and we will be back in just a little bit.
Hey, funkies! Are you looking to upgrade your wardrobe with new swag? Are you looking for something that has style and yet is casual? Don't worry, we have got you covered. Literally. It's the new CMS Wrap Up Show shirt. To order, message us through our CMS Wrap Up Show Facebook Messenger and submit payment through the link to Cash App. You'll be rocking in style at the big metal show when you wear your classic metal show wrap-up show t-shirt. Get them while you can.
Back right here on the Wrap Up Show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue with some more Debunking Dokken. So here we go. Let's bring this over here. There we go. You should be seeing Dawn right now. Let me know, Andrew, if you can hear this.
I went to Rat, was the bass player.
Good. All right. So let's move forward here. So he thinks Juan left because he was fighting with George. And now up here, he's going to say, this is an interesting one too. I think that you're going to say this is going to call some bullshit on this. Let's hear him say this one. Right here. Let's hear him say this.
All right. It's pretty funny. It really is wild. So to go back a little bit though, so you with Tooth and Nail, you wrote all the songs that ended up on the album, right? Like I think if the story's right, everybody kind of wrote their own songs, but then the label picks the songs and your songs are the ones that they chose. Is that accurate?
Yes. I mean, I'm sure Jeff and Mick and Jorge would dispute that. We've been disputing it for 30 years. But the problem is that, and the reason it's called Tooth and Nail is because we did the Breaking the Chains tour. We opened up for Blue Oyster Cult, Aldo Nova, and Y&T. It was a 4-band bill, and we got like 30 minutes. So we toured all over the United States, big arenas, 10,000 people. Aldo Nova taught us how to fish for the girls, and he taught us a lot. And we came back and we are like, man, we played everywhere. We're going to, we're rocking. And Lecter says, you sold 100,000 copies. And I went, that's it. And he said, well, no offense. He said, but we only printed 100,000 copies. And I said, are you shitting me? He goes, well, we might have printed 120. So they didn't believe in Dokken. And I remember the meeting. A new president came in and they wanted to drop Motley Crue and Dokken. So we fought for it. It's fucking ladder. So they wanted to get rid of Motley, and Tom Zutot, who's a famous A&R guy, he was just doing singles promotion and had left and gone to Elektra. And he begged.
Now, before we go into Tom, so what's your take on Tooth and Nail? This is all Don? That Mick and George and Jeff are all liars and he's the one telling the truth?
Don's a fucking liar. I mean, and he's so insulting to the fan base who have the album and can literally go and look at the goddamn fucking credits on the album. The reason that Under Lock and Key says all songs by Dokken and don't break it all down is because this is what I was told or that I heard in other interviews, was because if you look at Tooth and Nail, for the most part, all the big songs, he didn't fucking write them. And he got pissed off about it. And it wasn't enough that his name is the name of the band. Jesus Christ, hold on. I'm going to pull this up so I could be accurate when I name off what songs he did and didn't have anything to fucking do with. Okay.
Yeah, let's not be like the CMS, like my bro. Let's go ahead and get on the internet and confirm song by song what was what.
Here you go. I'm going to read it, but just so you can see.
It's off right off there. There you go. Yep.
Okay. So here we go. The Without Warning instrumental, obviously only George Lynch. Ready? Here we go into the actual songs. The song Tooth and Nail. Here's the writing credits. Brown, Lynch, Pilson. No Dokken. Just Got Lucky. Lynch, Pilson. No Dokken. Heartless Heart. Brown, Lynch, Pilson. No Dokken. Don't Close Your Eyes. Don Dokken, Lynch, Pilson. So that's the first songs that he wrote, and we're already 3 songs into the fucking album. When Heaven Comes Down. Brown, Lynch, Pilson. Into the Fire. Dokken, Lynch, Pilson.
So he's got 2.
Bullets to Spare. Brown, Dokken, Lynch, Pilson.
All of them. Okay. 3.
Alone Again. Dokken, Pilson.
4.
Turn On the Action. Brown, Lynch, Pilson. So you have the whole album. Don only co-wrote 3 fucking songs on the entire goddamn album.
And he's claiming he wrote the whole thing.
And he's claiming he wrote the whole thing. And out of all those fucking songs that he co-wrote on the album, yeah, all right, 2 of them are the singles, but then the other 2 singles he had nothing to fucking do with.
And if you are the writer of all the songs, why would you not demand that your name is on the writing credits for every song? So either he's got his albums mixed up or he's just lying. What the fuck?
He is lying. Oh, so I remember. So there's a channel called Audio Mover. That guy did a video on the writing credits thing with Dokken, and it's called Don Dokken's All Lies or Dokken's All Lies or something, and it breaks down the writing credit thing. And he reads interviews that were in, like, I think a Hit Parader or something, where Lynch and Pilson were saying, well, some of us contribute more than others, and other members get butthurt or get mad that they're not part of it. So we had to,
Yeah.
yeah, because originally, Back for the Attack was supposed to have the same crediting system as Under Lock and Key did, and Lynch got pissed off and said, "Fuck that! I want credit for the shit that I fucking wrote. I don't want anybody that didn't have any credit for it getting credit for it."
There you go.
Yep.
All right, so let him talk a little bit about Tom Zutot here for just a second.
Basically stood up for me and Motley and said, you got to give these guys another chance. They're just growing, you know? So Tom Zutot, who went on to sign Tesla and all kinds of bands, we got another shot. So I went to George and Mick. They had already quit the band. They did. Thank you, guys. Because George thought, well, if Don can get a record deal, we can get a record deal. And I said, knock yourself out, you know? So I go home. I have no record deal. I got shit all. I'm broke. But then I got Warren T. Martini, who in Rat. So he joined Dokken for about 50 seconds.
That's funny. Also, I love the idea that they wanted a ballad and you found Alone Again on like a 10-year-old cassette tape, and you and Jeff Pilson just go in and record it.
Yeah, I'd already recorded it when we were airborne.
Yeah, right.
And Tom's the one that said it, Zutot, because you remember that year, it was like Every Rose Had Its Thorn, or where was it? A Silent Lucidity.
Right, the ballads.
What? That year was Every Rose Has Its Thorn and Silent Lucidity?
Yeah, Silent Lucidity, which came out in 90 and wasn't a single until 91. Okay. Check that track.
And when did Alone Again come out?
84. Whole 6 or 7 years before.
Don, Every Rose Has Its Thorn and Silent Lucidity were nowhere near the same time frame.
Yes,
so it wasn't like
were.
it wasn't like Tom he's
Yes,
making
they
it like
were.
he's making it like Tom's sitting at a desk and he's like, God, okay, what songs are we going to release here for this new Dokken now? Well, you got it on the radio right now. Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Silent Lucidity. We got to get Alone Again. Come on, Don. That's how he's making it sound. That's not how it happened at all, Don. Oh, God damn, he just lies and just lies. All right, let's move forward here to some more. We got quite a few, but still get through. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get through them all today. Might have to do another segment, but we'll maybe do that tomorrow or the next day. But hold on, let's see. We got right here at 44. Let's just check in right here. He's gonna say something I think we need to check out. Let it load for a second. Come on, video. Come on, YouTube. Do I still got you? You're still on there? You can hear me? Okay. So it's
I can hear you.
It's just YouTube being a punk. Let me see here.
Yeah.
Mount.
Okay, here we go.
How do you get all this goddamn information?
Ralph does a lot of research and he's like very brilliant at this, but once in a while he gets something wrong and then we get to make fun of him.
And then you get to jump in and say, nope.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know, because I've done 1,000 interviews and sometimes they get on and they ask me a question. I go, what are you talking about? You know, they're completely uneducated about Dokken, about rock and roll. I can tell by a voice of a girl, she's like 19, but you got your shit together.
19? She's 19.
Him and Wendell have a thing for the 19-year-olds. She was
19-year-old girl.
Yeah, I mean, we can just check in with that if that's what we need to do. I mean,
I think it is.
I think right over here. Well, you know, and that's the thing is he gets really excited by that. He's just like
19-year-old girl.
19-year-old.
19-year-old girl. 19-year-old girl.
Yeah, he gets excited by that too. So they both like the 19-year-olds. All right, let me see what there's more on here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a couple other. There's actually the back half of the interview. I think I just wrote after this point. He just lies and lies and lies. But let's go right here. he says just a little bit further here. He's going to say, check this out. What he says here.
10. And I said, Metallica put 16
Hold on.
on their albums, you know?
Right.
But they wanted to put it out in vinyl, so you can only put 5 aside. And I said, vinyl's dead, and what? They're good songs. Let's put them all in there. Put them on the CD, and then don't put them on the record. And yeah, it was a big to do because it was before I got my arm.
I mean, because clearly, if Lars is allowed to do it, then Don should be allowed to do it.
Also, back then they used to put more than just fucking 10 songs on a vinyl. I don't know what changed to where if it's over 10, they have to do a double vinyl now. But I have plenty of fucking vinyls in there that are the older shit that have like fucking 12 or 13 songs on it.
There you go.
And back for the attack, I have the original vinyl. It's all on one vinyl. I have the remastered too because it's a color edition, so I wanted that. It's my favorite Dokken album. That's on 2 vinyls. So does he not understand? Does he not remember? You know, like 3-4 years ago versus 40 fucking years ago. What a moron!
It just blends into one.
Fucking hard.
All right, and then here he just kind of misspeaks on this part, but I thought this was funny because of the way he says it. You could tell me if you've ever heard of this before. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. I don't know. A little further here. What are we at? Right. We'll go right. Right. I can't put my hands on it. Right here, ladies and gentlemen.
23 years.
Yeah.
And I've heard they're going to retire.
Yeah, I heard that too.
You know, that's the word. So.
All right, hold on. It's a little bit further than that. Let me move this. Get this straight here. Right here. Why are we not hearing it? What happened?
Now we do a thing called the first, which we're going to ask you about your first experience with sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We start with rock and roll, and we just mean the first concert that you, Don Dokken, went to because you, Don Dokken, wanted to go to. You weren't dragged by your brother or someone else. You said, I want to go see this band. Who was it?
Easy answer. I was in the 8th grade, and there was a band playing at a VHW hall or something.
The VHW? You ever go to a VHW?
And I went there to this dance, and the band was called The Seeds.
The Seeds. Okay.
You're pushing too hard. You're pushing on me. You're pushing too hard. No, you want me to be that band.
Okay. I don't know the song, but I'm sure anyone older
You're
than
just
me.
a baby.
Well, not that.
What's that? Did you say something, Andrew?
I said he went, I've never heard of that band. I was like, neither have I.
No one has. But it was down at the VHW hall, whatever a VHW hall is. And so from here on out, we're going to listen more because Don just he's going to start spinning some yarns. He's going to let it go.
Maybe, but I'll take it. Now the
Type
first
in
drug
The
you ever...
Seeds and
I'll look it
pushing
up.
too hard. That song was awesome.
The first drug you ever did after weed, unless weed was not your first drug. I know you're not a big drug guy, but I do know not only did you do coke a couple times, but you also did something called Orange Sunshine. So I know you've done some drugs.
Yes,
so
I did.
What was the first drug you ever did?
Orange Sunshine.
Oh, that was your first drug. And that was a certain type of acid.
Orange Sunshine.
It was the good shit.
Uh-huh.
You know, back then, we're talking about 53, 63, you know, right around Woodstock days.
Yep.
Orange Sunshine was just pure, and that's when it was legal. A lot of people don't realize that LSD was legal.
Wow.
It wasn't illegal. You could buy it. And LSD, it was
For a guy who doesn't do drugs, he knows a lot about everything.
Let's see, 53, 63.
You did drugs when you were born and when you were fucking 10?
Yeah, well, you know, the foster home, they just let that shit lying around, so I got into it quite a bit.
Him and Dean Martin and Frank
Fucking
Sinatra
liar!
are on Kings Beach in North Tahoe doing LSD. Oh God, he just makes up so much shit.
You gotta understand something.
For a guy who doesn't
Summer of love. You're doing LSD. I was only 14. I was driving my car. It was the summer of love. I was traveling down the road, driving my car. It had a blown head gasket.
You gotta stop every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, you had to stop and put some water in the vehicle.
I was rolling on acid. I did Orange Sunshine when I was a baby. They put it in my crib, and I got into it. A fucking idiot.
And for a guy who doesn't do drugs, he knows so much about them.
Yeah.
He knows when they were legal, how much you gotta take, what the names.
Drugs. That's why.
Okay, here we go. A little more.
Liar.
It just this from here, from 59 minutes to the end of the interview. So, got 8 more minutes of just pure bullshit. Watch.
It was a pure LSD. There was no speed. There was no shit in it. So people had bad trips.
Mhm.
You know, you took your acid with your friends. You sat around, put records on, and you just went off into the ozone, you know?
Incense and pepper.
Off into the ozone. Off into the ozone.
Yeah.
And now the first time you had sex, Don.
I shouldn't remember that, but I do because I got in a lot of trouble.
Oh.
I got in a lot of trouble. I was of age, and well, let's not say the rest. I remember I'm friends with Neil.
Remember, I like 19-year-old girls.
Is that all you're going to say on that matter, or?
All right, I was living in Lake Tahoe.
I got to
I
think.
was, I don't know, 14, and living with my mom. And my mom let us rehearse in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
It's my little band we'd all put together. And she didn't want us going out. And she says, I'll buy you beer. Who? Oh, it's my favorite person. This Italian guy called.
His mom's letting him drive at 14 and giving him beer.
And his favorite person is an Italian guy. I wonder where this story is going to go. So anyway, he fucked me up the asshole.
No, watch what happens. Is watch what Don screws him over. Listen.
Spam. So anyway, my mom said, I'll buy you guys a case of beer. You can rehearse, you know, in the living room.
Yeah.
But you can't drink. You can't go out. We were all 14 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
We're 14
Same with
years
my mom.
old. My mom kickstarted my alcohol.
And I had a girlfriend. I still remember her name, Millie Norton.
Nice.
And I was a sophomore, and she had
Millie
You're a
Norton.
sophomore at 14?
How's that work out?
You're not even in high school. Okay, maybe you start freshman year when you're 14, but you turned 15 and you're a sophomore?
He's all fucked up, dude. I have a kid who's 13 and he's in 7th grade.
Yeah, right. So when he's 14, he'll
He's in
be
8th
in
grade.
eighth.
He's not even in high school yet. No.
He might start freshman year when he's 14.
well, he's
but by the time that ends, he'll be
15. Yeah. Oh God, kids, listen to him. Here he goes. Millie Norton.
these whopping knockers, man. They were big.
Those are tits, Ralph.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Ralph
you're
doesn't
like,
know.
well, what's a knocker?
Yeah,
haven't
Yeah,
seen
you
those
got
in
to
a while.
inform me. You're a little
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
So we did the makeout thing for a long time.
Kissing.
And finally we had sex in the bathroom.
Intercourse.
And my mom's bedroom was right next door.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to be quiet, and she's not.
Yeah.
And it turns out she was a virgin.
Oh, wow. Well, good for you. A double virgin. That's
And
nice.
I was a virgin. So we're just trying to figure it out, you know? And all of a sudden I hear my mom go, Dawn, get out of the bathroom. I know what you're doing in there. And I went,
That's great.
oh, fuck. I'm
Oh,
so
boy.
busted. That was
I
my
think-
first experience.
That's
having
cool.
sex.
And by the way, a couple of things, last couple of things, then we're going to wrap this up. But it's amazing is I heard you talk once about how you grew up loving American Bandstand. And a lot of people may not know this, but Dokken was on American Bandstand in 1985, along with Gladys Knight and the Pips, which is crazy. And then you were only supposed to do one song, but Dick Clark let you guys do a second song. That's a crazy story that a guy that, growing up the way you did to do that is pretty wild.
Yeah, most of those bands, I mean, come on, AC/DC was on American Bandstand.
Yeah.
That's probably because of Mick,
Mhm.
because, when we did the song, I was really nervous, and you have to lip sync, and a lot of people were there and screaming. And then when finally I get to meet an icon that I grew up with since I was 10 years old, and he asked Mick, "What's the best thing that's ever happened in your life?" And Mick said, "Meeting
Gladys
Gladys Knight
Knight.
Fitz
Yeah.
backstage."
Yeah.
And you see this, if you YouTube it, you see Dick Clark, big smile on his face. And then we were done.
Yeah.
Then we went backstage, and the producer came back and he said, "Dick wants you to do another song." And I went, "Oh, fuck. Yeah, great."
But
And then
didn't George almost fuck it up because he said, "What's the
He-
worst thing?" And he said Chicago or something like that, not
Typical-
knowing the
typical George. And that's where Dick Clark came from on the radio. And you see on the video when he says, "The worst thing that ever happened to you," and he goes, "Detroit," he said.
Oh,
Detroit, and we're all like, no, he doesn't really mean no. We're all Jeff piped in, Jeff Mick, we
Yeah.
all jump in. No, he doesn't mean that. No, he had food poisoning.
yeah,
It was the stupidest
it's funny.
thing you could ever see. But I've always said that George has social Tourette's. You know, he's that
And then
kind of
also
guy.
the last story I love, by the way, then we'll wrap this up, is that
Social Tourette's. Well, Don, you're full of shit.
Yeah, what about diarrhea of the mouth, Don? Are you familiar with that?
I mean, I think right here, just in the last hour, we've completely dissected your nonsense and figured out that this interview is full of horseshit. Well, and I didn't even get to the part. Now that I remember, I didn't even throw in the segment, Andrew, where he mentions he went to Korea and got his karate belt. So
We'll get to it
Also-
eventually. There's tons
Yeah.
of material here. We just had to get this started because it's been a while.
yeah, a lot of debunking here, and
you went to see Devo.
We'll
Oh,
hold on.
we could put it this way. There's going to be a lot of debunking Dokken because almost everything Don says is a fucking lie.
Well, he has made this claim that at 35 he had to go to Korea to get his black belt in Taekwondo. So we wanted to show you some photos of his time in Korea working on his katas here. Here he is. He had to do some feats of strength in North Korea for Kim Jong. Here he is taking on an attacker. As you can see, he even had the hat on in this
Want to
one.
see something that Don taught me how to do?
Here he is doing the full flip and the kick of the board. So
Here's something that Don taught me how to do. You ready? You
Yep.
rub your hands together and you can use the friction to light your own cigarette.
And of course, his number one protege, his star pupil.
And boy, if I would have got out in that parking lot and got a hold of those fellas that took my Camaro, they would have been sorry.
The Cobra Kai reboot featuring Donnie D and WE. All right, y'all. So this is going to wrap this segment up. We're going to have more segments coming at you. Me and Andrew are going to be knocking out some more things. I believe, as Wendell's younger brother, Evil, I'm going to have to say that, unfortunately, I have some trials and tribulations being the younger brother of a famous radio jockey, a disc jockey.
Rock and rollers everywhere.
The kind of guy that likes to
Jockey around.
And so, hold on.
Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
So I may have to do that at some point in time as Evil, and I may get a call from another gentleman who's the younger brother of another famous podcaster, Andrew.
Oh yes, I believe
A friend of mine I've formed has reached out. His name is Sam, and we might be having Sam on the show at some point in time. And we're also going to be going over some news and notes in the next couple of segments. So we're going to wrap this one up here, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you joining
try
us.
to get Kendall Peters and Tim James on because Jeff Tate just took a massive shit. Released an album lately.
We have been discussing and mulling and digesting the Operation Mindcrime 3 album with Jeff Tate. And so we are going to try to get Kendall and TJ, hopefully, TJ James. I don't know if we can make the schedules work. We're going to try to have a 4-way talk about this. Is it a masterpiece or a master dud? We're going to find out and discuss some other, interesting news and notes regarding Tate and Queensryche. And we'll save this for then because you, my friend, just recently saw Queensryche. And so we're going to hear a little bit about your show review. And you can do what I've done recently, which is A and B what you're hearing from each lineup. So, all right, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for joining us here.
I want to compare a couple tracks side by side.
Yeah.
Because
sure,
I think I won't reveal it yet, but we've been talking in private that I have some observations of where I think the actual writing talent was coming from.
Well, there you go. And I, for one, definitely think the writing talent was coming from Ovamits. Let that be on the record. So, all right, y'all.
You just
we'll be
ruined
back.
You just gave it away. Anyway,
plays guitar like that. All right, we'll be back in just a little bit.
Raise your horns high.